Hello, let me do a YouTube video that I want to do because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I'm kind of drunk right now. I'm partying. I drank Jägermeister. I'm partying out of joy. So yeah. But no, but I've been smoking a lot of weed and I've been getting older, more mature, thinking back on my life and thinking all the crazy shit that I used to do, and I'm glad I'm still alive. Um, yeah, and I've been getting even I smoke a lot of weed, you think over and over again. I hang out by myself, so I have lots of time to think over and over and over. And I'm like, oh my God, and I get like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. And yeah, dude, and I did some crazy shit. And so let me tell you a story. So I climbed Shiprock. New Mexico. Shiprock, New Mexico is this rock formation, and I'll do the backgrounds because I'm doing this on green screen. I think it's the tallest formation. We'll find out. The tallest in America, like spire. It's 1,500 feet high. And yeah, when I was like 20, how old was I? I think I was a sophomore of college, and so you're 18, 19, freshman, 19, 20. So I was like 19 or 20 years old. I was like 20 years old, and I was friends with this kid who's a rock climber, and he'd only been rock climbing for 1 year. He was from Alaska, named Andy, and he's like, yeah, let's do Shiprock, and he was this climber, but he had this. I felt like he was kind of. I had climbed with him once. I wasn't experienced climber. I climbed a little bit at the rock gym in high school, and then I climbed this 4 pitch climb with my brother, and then this rock guide in El Dorado called Bastille, and that scared the living shit out of me, made my mouth dry. But yeah, I started hanging out with my friend, and I did a little bit of climbing with him. He's like, yeah, let's. So I was pretty much like a novice. And he's like, yeah, let's climb Shiprock, the highest freaking uh, spire in the desert, 1,500 feet high. And, but the thing was, I had special, faith in him. Like, I felt like if I was with him, I would maybe safe because he was really. I felt like he was a competent climber. I did do a climbing trip with him, and before that, we went down to Waco rocks, and we did I think like a 4 foot pitch called something, Waco holes or whatever, which was fun. And he led on that, and so yeah, we go to Shiprock, but it's illegal. But he's 100% Navajo Indian. So, because he was like, yeah, it's illegal here. If we see Indians, they're going to freaking jump us. I'm like, all right, then we flagged, I'm with you, you're Indian. So, I felt like we had like a special power because he was Indian. Like, they'd be like, holy shit, like they would help support us. And so, and it was kind of like, there was this other time, there was a spire, he liked to do these aid 5 climbs, which is like the most insane kind of climbing where you have to go up the cracks and you have to hit the pieces in the crack, and then you hang, and then you hit the other one out while the other one's slowly coming out. And we did this spire called Cleopatra Spire, and we actually went to the Indians and the Navajos who lived at the base of it before we climbed it, and told them that we were going to just ask them permission to climb it because we were going to go there to clean all of the webbing off of the top that other climbers leave. And there was these Indians who were just living in this like shack right under it, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And so we went back there, and but I made a mistake, and I forgot to bring the pocket knife to cut the webbing off the top, and so he had to go all the way to the bottom and get his pocket knife again, because that was the whole reason he went. And I was hearing him up there, and I was like, and this was an 8.5, it was super dangerous. I was freaking out, like praying, like I wasn't gonna die, because I heard him screaming up there, like yelling. He's pissed off cupping it, but he said he wasn't even like attached. But yeah, anyway, that was yeah, so that was like the only other experience I remember having. But yeah, we go up there and he wanted me to climb. So we go up the western side, and then you have to go around, and then you have to, and then you go down the north, like a little crack, like a valley, like a little, like as big as this room, and then you have to go around this, around the side of this overhang. It's like it goes like around the side, and then it goes through an overhang, and then you walk up the top, and but then you have to go over around the another kind of like around the sheer wall that goes all the way to the bottom, to the top. And yeah, so we go to the bottom, and on the western side, and we're gonna make it a two day trip out of it. And yeah, so Shiprock is totally illegal because it's the highest spire in the desert, and it's right next to Shiprock, right next to the town. So it's I was just read the Wikipedia, and they said they have this like a myth around it. Anyway, so we go to the bottom of it, and yeah, I'm not just drunk, I'm also stoned. So we go, he goes, oh yeah, and we bring this. See, this is how fucking crazy I was. I've been getting PTSD thinking about it. Like, I've been losing sleep because the rope that we were using, because he didn't have a rope, or for some reason, even though he was a climber, he didn't have a rope, and I happened to have a rope. But the rope that I had was this rope that, like, after I got out of high school, before I went into college, I got this job being a mountain guide. These 16-day mountain hiking trips, 2 of them in the San Juan Mountains, and my friend who I was working for, George Gardner, gave me a rope at the end. He said, "Yeah, here's my climbing rope. This green climbing rope." He's like, "Yeah, it's my old climbing rope. I'm retiring it." He's like, "Don't ever use it for real climbing. This is just for you for sport climbing up and down the wall and stuff." But and so yeah, I told my friend, I'm like, "Yeah, this is like it's retiring," and he's like, "Oh no, it's fine." But it was missing a part in the middle. No, it was missing part in the outside, so we had to actually like hold it, I think in 2 parts, and actually fled it through really carefully because the outer part was frayed. But like I was like, okay, man, he seemed invincible. So we go up there and he's like, "Yeah, we have to save time. So the first pitch, we're not going to use ropes. So I'll carry the rope and you carry everything else." Which included, and this was, so I remember at the time in my head thinking, okay, that's 60 feet. I don't know what, so if it was 60 feet, I don't know why the hell I did it, because it was sheer. It was easy climbing, but it was sheer. It was like climbing, it was like rock climbing, but with, it was full on rock climbing. I mean, easy holes, but it was full on sheer rock climbing, 60 feet up. And I had to carry the backpack and all our extra gear, like, and the beer. I had to bring a 6-pack of beer with me. And so we go up to this ledge, to 6 down. That's probably the craziest thing I ever did. It scared the living shit out of me. I don't know if I looked down, but like I get to the top, and we hook up, and then we go the rest of the way with ropes. And that's like another few pitches. I mean, it was a bunch of pitches. I don't know how many pitches, but maybe I'll write in the back how many pitches 1,500 feet is. But we climb up, and I'm afraid of heights. But we make it to the top, and then we go over and we get to hike down. I think that's where we camped. So we made a 2-day trip out of it. And so that's where we drank our beer. We had a party up there on Shiprock. And then the next day, this is the part that gives me, PTSD, because, yeah, so we get up and then we have to hike down a little bit, you know, like just a few meters down. But then you have to rock climb around this the bolt, like the edge, like this round. It was this volcanic formation, and it was just around this. I think it was granite. This just rock face, you know. But it was pretty much my limit of rock climbing, and so I had to belay him, and we're traverse rock climbing. And he went around, like, what I remember, it was a good 30. It was a good like 50 feet or something. It was a full on pitch. Like, I think 40 feet is what you get for a pitch. It was something like that, and so he goes, and then I go, and I looked down, and there was nothing to look down to, because under my feet is where, right at my feet is where it went under. It was an underhang, and I looked down, and if you fall, I mean, it went down all the way to the bottom, and at this point, it seemed it was like 1,000 feet, I think. And yeah, I was shitting my pants, and I went around. Because it was full on, I was like my limit of rock climbing too. It was like if I was in a rock gym, this was my limit. Only now I'm up 1,000 feet below me. But I made it without falling, thank God. And I got there, and then we went up. We had to hike up, like it was like an actual like flat part. Like with maybe a 45 degree or 20 degree angle, we went up, and some flatness, and then we had to get, and then we were almost at the top. I think it was the south peak, and then we would have been to the very top. And as I looked over on the western side, it was a sheer drop all the way to the bottom. So 1,500 feet all the way to the bottom, sheer, all the way, sheer cliff. And I think maybe some people climbed up it that way, but we went the easy way, which was a little bit to the north. And but yeah, and then he goes and he looks at it, and in order to climb to the top, we would have had to go over a face that involved us climbing a sheer face on the face that went all the way to the bottom, 1,500 feet. And I looked down, and I remember seeing our car, because we parked it right at the western side of it. And it looked like a tiny little dot, and I was like, oh my God. And I looked up, and he looked at it, and it seemed pretty clear to me which way it was. You just had to go up the face, but he's like, oh man, I don't know which way it is. I don't know which way it is. I don't know what we should do. And I'm looking at the rope like, are we gonna freaking trust this rope again? And he's like, okay, let's not go do it. And so we ended up like backing down, but we were almost at the top. It was only like another pitch, like a 40 feet, and then it was at the top. I could see the top of it. But yeah, so I think so. But and then we went down, you know, but then we had to come back across around the side of it, and yeah, that was that I made through it somehow. I only remember the part that I went through on the first part, and then we made it down, but it took us all day. It took us 2 full days. We started in the morning, right? We got up and started climbing, I think, at the crack of dawn, and then got up at the crack of dawn the next day, and then got back to the car, and he was tired, so I had to drive all the way back, which was like an hour and a half or something, and I was just about to pass out. But I think I was exhausted. We were both exhausted from the stress. But yeah, I made it. But I've been getting I wouldn't do that now. I'm 44 now, and I'm like, I think back, like, why would I put myself, like, is this the most gruesome death? Because I was reading on Google Earth, or Google, there was this guy who died, they went up it, and I guess somehow they were belaying, or they were rappelling off of their rigging, and it broke. They had some rigging up there, and the guy hit the ledge and tumbled down, and his skull was crushed. I'm like, oh yeah, that could have been me. Yeah, I did another one. I did Devil's Tower with him too. I wanted to. He wanted me to lead one, but I couldn't because he gave me these shoes that were way too small. So I couldn't. I had to belay up in my bare feet. but but yeah. But then he went back there to Shiprock with his girlfriend, and she hadn't climbed before, and Katie and before she met him, and they did some climbing. I don't know how much they did before that. Maybe they were only climbing like a month or something. And he said she led on one of the spires they did once, so she was really into it. But yeah, they went up there and they made it to the top. He was right there. He just had to do it. But on the way down, she knocked a rock onto his head, and he almost passed out. And from all the bleeding, and when he got x-rayed, he got a crack in his skull. And, so they got even closer to dying than I did. So, yeah. And then I heard that he died at 26. I remember he telling me when we were 18, freshman year, he's like, yeah, I'm going to die before I'm 25 climbing because that's the way of the warrior. And but I kept hanging out with him and climbing with him because I felt like he was kind of like invincible. But when I remember him telling me once that he almost died once when he climbed a spire that week, and he slipped and almost fell off, but because he wasn't connected and caught himself at the last minute, so he was kind of but he climbed. I heard he climbed a El Capitan in a blizzard the next year after a couple of years after I climbed that with him. But yeah, that I don't it's freaky to think. I don't think I should, because there would have been no rescue. It's crazy to think how when you're young, when you're like 20 years old, you think that you're invincible. You'll just go and do something crazy like that. Like, to do that now, it's just insane. Like there would have been, nobody would have known. Wasn't cell phones. Nobody would have been able to rescue us if we'd have been dangling there or something. So, it would have been cool to have a photo, but I climbed Shiprock, Colorado, New Mexico. Yeah. Okay.